It's all good. That's happened this whole week, so it's all right.
Wait for YouTube to load.
It's all good. It's all good. That's happened this whole week, so it's all right.
And we are live. Hello, 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 out there in the World Wide Web. This is Tell Me Something Live. And this is Lenwood Wilson Jr., motivational speaker, the entrepreneur freak, with my co-host Andrea Mason. And we are here with some powerful speakers and entrepreneurs today that are going to shed their light on the world and tell you their life journey and just give you something to start your week with. We chose Monday for a reason because Monday is one of the roughest days of the week. A lot of people don't like to talk about it, but the suicide rate is the highest on Mondays, going to work in the morning. It is painful to think of, but it's the truth. So let us do something to urge you and propel you to be positive. That's the focal point of today, having positive energy regardless. You have anything to say, Andrea?
Monday is a day of new beginnings. It's to refresh and regroup from the weekend and get your started day motivated Monday. So I'm excited to be with you, Lenwood, with these amazing speakers. Let's get it started.
No doubt, no doubt. And we'd like to thank all of you viewers out there in the virtual world. Welcome to Tell Me Something Live. And we are just going to give you some good moments. And I'm going to share a quick point on taking the day and focusing, because you really need to focus to stay positive and stay happy. You know, a lot of people say, oh, just let loose and you'll be happy. But the thing is, you have to be intentful, because you have to be present to be happy. You know, when a family member wants to do something with you and your mind is somewhere else. So you're not present in the moment. So you can't even enjoy yourself with your family. You know, you're chilling with your family, but you're thinking about work. You're driving to work, and you're thinking about a speech or an email that you have to prepare while you're on the way. And you can't be happy in a space like that when you're not in the present. So just think about that. You have any note on being in the present and being positive?
Absolutely. It is one thing. Time is of an essence, and being present is key. You can't get anything done if your mindset is elsewhere. You want to give your time and attention to everything that you do, because that's going to be effective, productive, and in the moment. And like Lenwood said, when you're thinking about work with your family and you're with your family and thinking about work, you're really taking away that gift of time that you give to others. And it's so precious because it can never be replaced, never taken away, and never given back. So great points. I'm excited for this evening. Back to you, Lenwood.
No doubt, no doubt. And now I will share my screen and we will kick it off with the intro. 2021. We're streaming worldwide. We gotta give them something to do. We gotta show them excellence. Speakers speak. We gotta tell them something. The whole world's watching. We gotta tell them something. The whole world's watching. We gotta tell them something. The whole world's watching. We gotta tell them something. Thank you all. Thank you all. This is Tell Me Something Live. And if you have just come in, this is host and motivational speaker Lenwood Wilson Jr. with my host Andrea Mason. And she is going to introduce you to our first person. But I'd like to tell everyone who is here, we have Peg Tucker, we have Natalie Henry, we have Joseph Pessano. And first is Peg Tucker. Andrea, will you be such a joy and then introduce her properly to the world?
Absolutely, my pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start the night off right with Miss Peg Tucker. She's a joyful, loving, and living strategist, and she empowers people in improving their health and their wealth. Most of all, her belief is that they deserve and can do both. She lives in a heart that is based on her mission. And her mission is that to share the power of and embrace connecting the body and mind to work together in alignment. And along with being an instructor for the active choices coaching, Peg is also a leader and of an organization of hundreds of people, helping them make time for themselves and full-time income from home, a full-time income from home. And she enjoys spending time on the water with her husband and of 34 years. And she has 3 adult children, and she welcomes the stage Miss Peg Tucker. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much, Andrea and Lenwood. It's a pleasure to be here. And I want to first acknowledge that it is the International Day of the Woman today. So I really want to celebrate that. You know, I work with men and women, but I definitely have a passion for helping women get unstuck in a way, unstuck from a situation like I was in a number of years ago. You know, and I believe that if you are listening, and I'm so sorry about the squeaky dog toy to my left here. If you are listening right now, I want to tell you, I believe that there's a reason, that there's a message that I have to share that you need to hear. You know, just a few years ago, I felt very, very trapped. And until I found a better way of being an entrepreneur, and I've always loved being an entrepreneur. And you know what, I think there's so many women who feel trapped. If this is you, if you're a woman who feels trapped, if you're afraid that you're not qualified, if you feel undeserving, if you're an introvert, if you maybe regret the path that you chose in life, and you don't want to die with your greatness within you, there's a reason for you tuning in. You know, just a number of years ago, I had just a vicious cycle of bills and debt mounting. I was working 60 hours a week. I felt helpless and trapped and exhausted. And I really went through a time, and I'm just really coming to grips with this. This is a number of years ago. I truly didn't want to go on anymore. I didn't want to live anymore. And that's makes me emotional to talk about. And a lot of it was because I had a limiting belief in what I could do. I knew I needed to change. There was a fire inside of me that knew I wanted a better life, but I didn't know how to do it. And I felt that there was no way out of my situation. And luckily, I knew a friend of mine came to me with something that he said, you know what, you should take a look at this. I think this could help you. And I was very skeptical. It was it was about it. It was a business, and it was revolved around a product that is new to the market. It's FDA registered. It helps people feel better and younger. And I knew that I was exhausted all the time. I knew I wanted to try this product. And I have to tell you that what I found has altered my life. And I'm this is why I'm so passionate about sharing it, because I know that if someone didn't share this with me, I could still be in that situation. And there's probably a chance that I wouldn't be alive anymore, just because of the dark place I was going to in my head. So this product is helping people to feel better and to feel younger and look younger, which is something that everybody wants. But what I also found along with this, I have, it's such a joy to share this product and to help people feel better and look better. But what I've also found along with this is the industry of network marketing. And this has allowed me to pay off my debt, to be a lender and not a borrower, to take my family on vacations, to do what I love, and that's to help and serve others. And I want to share with you the top 5 things that I have found that have really made me fall in love with the industry. And number 1 is a positive community. I think oftentimes in our traditional jobs, we don't get to spend all day with people who uplift each other and want to cheer each other on. And what I have found in this industry is people who I've made such good friends in this industry. I know that these will be friends for life. And I talk to them several times a week. I recently, several months ago, had a crisis in my family, and these people were calling me every day, finding out, wanting to know, how's that going? How's that going? And they know my family, and we lift each other up and we cheer each other on and cheer each other's success. Number 2, the second thing I really love is the personal development. It's the journey to success. It's who you have to become in order to be successful. That really is the really what gravitates me to. I've always loved personal development, but it's a prerequisite for network marketing. And here I can tell you something. I never wanted to be a speaker. I've always been an introvert, and I never liked to have attention, but I knew I had a message to share, and I needed a better way to share my message, because if I know there's people out there that are suffering the way I was. So I needed to share my message. So I signed up for the Power Voice system, and right in there, I got acquainted to an extraordinary group of people that are wanting to make an impact on the world and wanting to make the world a better place, make their world a better place, grow, and take others along with them. So I love the personal development. And I also feel, and I know the reason I wanted to share my story is because I know that if I have something that has helped me so much, I have an obligation to share it. So I needed to make myself better in order to share my story. Number 3, the number 3 top thing that I love about network marketing is the flexible hours, also known as time freedom. You can work. I mean, we all have these things right here that we all have with us all the time, and you can work from your phone. I have a laptop computer, but I'm barely on it. You can ask my husband. You're always on your phone. So and in traditional jobs, we work 40 plus hours a week for 40 years in a rat race in order to just pay the bills, in order to just get by. And like I said before, I knew I was meant for something better. I don't think God put us here to exist. I think God put us here to have an excellent life, an excellent journey on this earth. And I think he expects it. And I think that's what we're obligated to do. So, being able to work from anywhere. I have a daughter in California. I can work when I visit her there. I have a mom in Florida. I can work when I visit her there. I live in the North Country in New York. It's freezing cold here. I can work from here. and from my car, wherever I am, I can squeeze in a little answering questions and working, and I can do it on my time. I can work on a beach too. And number 4, what I love is harnessing the power of the internet. I was a shop owner for quite some time, and I never knew how to harness the power of the internet. And in network marketing, that's all done for you. We are more connected, and our world is more connected than any time before in history. And yet people are lonely. And we have the opportunity to reach out to people and love on people all over the world and lock arms with people who want to make an impact and help them do that. So this is an extraordinary time in history. We've never been here before, being able to be so connected. And number 5, what I love is having a purpose. I wake up every morning with joy in my heart now. And to go from that dark place that I was to have joy in my heart and have a vehicle to help people. And I wake up every morning and I think, who can I help today? And I'm so grateful that someone thought enough of me to share this with me. So I just feel so blessed and obligated to let people know, because I know that I can help any woman who wants to make an impact and wants to improve her life. So I hope you have gotten some value from this. I would love, Andrea and Lenwood, I know if you have some questions, I know that I can help people, anyone who wants to help themselves. And I know that the reason people are listening today is because either you could, you want to make an impact, or someone who needs this message. Oh, I have one more thing I want to say. I love this quote, and I'm not sure where it comes from, but it's, what if I fail? And then, oh my darling, what if you fly? And I can promise you that if you truly want to change and you want to commit to you, I will commit 100%.
Excellent. That is amazing. Go ahead, Lenwood.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Peg. Thank you, Peg. And I like your new You Life product, and it's very interesting, new to the market, still trying to get its footing. But I understand that it is doing pretty daggone well for a company that's only 3 or 4 years old in the multi-million-dollar status. So let me ask you specifically. You talk about your love of the journey to success. Can you share a quick anecdote or a small story that gave you that energy to keep going on? Because you spoke at one time that you felt that you didn't even want to be on this earth anymore. So, like, what part of that journey, got you out of that stinking thinking?
Yeah, I think a big part of that, Lenwood, is associations. When I was in that stinking thinking place, I was associating with people who were also struggling, and but I didn't feel part of that in some way, because I had that burning desire inside of me to live a better life, to not just have an existence. So when I say associations, being around people before we had this lockdown, I had the opportunity to go and meet with some people who are just, even back at that time, were just soaring. I mean, their lives were changing. I can't even tell you that, the impact that they have made in their life. And being around those people and getting to know them and realizing they're no different than I am. They're, they just kept going. It's the consistency. They just kept going, and they have changed their lives and changed the lives of thousands of others. And that was what made me think, okay, if they can do this, I can too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is what our mentor, Mr. Les Brown, said, only quality people. And it's so true, because with my situation, I was in the same place. I was struggling and struggling and struggling, doing what I needed to do. And some of the visionaries around me had different expectations and limitations. And it was just like, why not me? Or why me? And then it wasn't until I expanded across the borders and I looked at 2020 as being a clarity and expanding like-minded individuals across the corners of the world. So I'm grateful to have you aboard, and thank you so much for sharing. It's really impactful. And I know the world is so happy that you're here, and we're not done with you. So keep on going and don't stop.
Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure. Thank you. I'm so looking forward to hearing the other speakers.
Yes, most definitely. Hey, Peg, I put your information in the live chat, and it will also be in the final description once the video renders when we're done. But just vocally, can you tell people where to get in contact with you at?
Sure, you can find me on Facebook. I'm Peg Tucker, and you can find me on Instagram, Peg_Tucker_. Those are the best places to find me. And I'm recently discovering TikTok too.
Fantastic. All right, Andrea, if you can introduce Mr. Joseph Pessano for me.
Sure, not a problem. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got Joseph Pessano coming to the platform, and just a little bit about him. He, over the last 40 years, he has been able to be cultivating his practice by healing by going into the realm of self, then back out into the seeming real chaos of the world and that we participate in. He also brings with him from the inner realm, he brings an understanding of forgiveness that will embody those who are lost in the stream of the chaos. And by utilizing these principles, he have been able to really condition and utilize the power of healing. He has made techniques that are very easy to understand and as easy to understand, but also perform, that anybody can do it. For the last 15 years, he has also enrolled and worked with hundreds of clients, empowering them to achieve elevated states of happiness and joy through movement and mindfulness and meditation. He has incorporated the mind, body, and soul in alignment to achieve these behaviors. And at the request of his clients, he has wrote his first book in 2017, as known as Harmonious Awakening, From Under the Shroud. And he is currently working on his second book. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Joseph Pessano.
I am so grateful to be here. Truly, truly thankful for both of you. It's just such an honor to be with such a beautiful, like-minded group, and I'm very thankful. And what a gift to be on this podcast for Women's Day. I don't know if you know this, but my mom is one of the most important people in my life. She's beyond. As of course, we all hope that we have a mother in our life that helps us grow and become the person that we're supposed to be. So I'm quite thankful to be here for that. As well as my sisters, they have just always encouraged me to be my authentic self and to always just make sure that I am just being who I'm supposed to be. And then my wife, she and I have been together for almost 15 years. We actually got married in 2017. So even though we're newly married, we have been together for quite some time. And she has just been a force in my life. And I'm just so grateful. Something that resonated deeply with me when Peg said that she had really gone to a deep moment in her life that she thought she was going to take her life. I was there. In fact, I was in such a dark place that it was over. It was done. And I actually took a handful of pills and drank a whole bunch of booze. I fell asleep, not anticipating on waking up. And when I did wake up, I was like, what is going on? I should not be awake right now. How is this possible? And then it really began to sink into me. I'm not gone because I'm supposed to be here. And I know a lot of people who are struggling, they wonder, well, why is it I'm supposed to be here? And that's what we're here to try to figure out, is how do we actually realize the nature that we're supposed to bring out into the world so that we can be this force to help awaken and bring people up with us. Because it's one thing for someone to rise to the top and stay there by themselves. That's great. But it's another thing to get to the top and bring people with you, right? Isn't that what we're supposed to do? We're supposed to bring people up with us. We're supposed to bring people along for the ride. That's what it's all about. You know what I mean? A roller coaster would be fun if it was just one person on it, but it's so much more fun when there's all the people behind you screaming. They're like, oh my God, here it comes. Ah! Oh no, I'm okay. Everything is safe. Hey, did you see the person behind me in the picture? They were so scared. It's crazy. They were along for the ride. I want people along for my ride. I want people along for that. And that's ultimately what I'm here for. And so I have been in that dark place. One of my favorite quotes is, the seed will never witness the tree it will become. When we're in those dark places, we don't always realize and anticipate what's actually going to happen. When you're in that spot where you're just in that buried moment where you're like, there's no way out of this. I'm not going to be able to make my way out of this. It's just too overwhelming. You don't actually realize what is going to happen from this. And then as you begin to bloom and blossom, you look back and you realize, oh my God, I was there. I bet there's somebody else who's been there. How can I help them? I need to help them. And I feel so fortunate and blessed that I've been able to do that for 15 years. You know, I've been to that dark place and I've made it through. I've risen above it, and I feel so grateful because it's the community. You know, as Peg was saying, it's the community, the team. And, you know, when you rely on that and you actually open yourself up to that, great things happen. You know, it takes a village. It really does. And we're all each other's village. This small panel right here, we are extending a lifeline, a gift, and who knows who's going to see this. It could be somebody who, and they're running a multi-billion-dollar company right now, or they might be holding on to $20 thinking, I'll never have $20 in my pocket again. Should I hold on to this? I don't know what to do with this $20. I got to feed my kids, but I don't know what's going on. I don't know where another $20 is going to come. And so when I was in that moment of my darkness, I thought, you know, it was all over. $20 was a big thing for me. And now if I have the opportunity to be able to give and donate $20, I will, you know, because I know that $20 is going to come back. And it may not come back in a $20 bill. It may come back in somebody saying, hey, can I take you out to lunch? Hey, can I, like, you know, bring you on my show to have you help talk about, you know, what's going on in your life? Like, what a gift, Lenwood. I mean, really, this is just such a gift that you're offering. And Andrea, what a beautiful gift that you're giving as well. I mean, this is just fantastic. And it's really just beautiful because you are extending that lifeline. And this is how we grow. And I'm all about the growth of not just self, but each other, because my clients, I believe that they will all attest to this. The better they get, the better I get. And the better I get, the better they get. And it's this constant building upon. We just keep growing off of each other. And it gets this beautiful wave. You know, it's that surfer trying to find that perfect wave. And all of a sudden, you know, if you're willing to take the time to sit back for a moment and let yourself simply be, the wave will come. But if you're always trying to search for that one wave and you let that one wave pass and you go, that's not the best wave, I'm going to wait for another one. I'm going to wait for another one. Well, when that big one comes, you actually never practiced riding any waves because you always only wanted to catch that one big wave. But if you actually take a wave and you catch that one wave, you paddle back out, you catch another wave and you catch another wave, we've had all this practice catching all of these little waves. The next thing you know, you're going to start to find yourself in the spot where the waves get better because you know what to look for now. And all of a sudden, the people who are around you, as you said earlier, you want to surround yourself with the people who are going to uplift you. By knowing how to catch those little waves, you're going to start to see the places where the waves get bigger and bigger. And you're going to start to see the surfers who actually know where the best waves are. But as a beginner, you're not going to jump out and just jump into that first wave. That's like a 10-foot wave. I don't know if any of you have ever been surfing before, but I have. And it was not the magical moment of standing on top of the board. I was like, oh, I'm the greatest surfer of all time. No. I was face planting. I was going over. It was entertaining to say the least, but I was not the most graceful surfer on that ocean today. But I had a wonderful time being out there because the family was out there with me. And so that's the beautiful part, is as we help each other, we begin to learn how to catch those waves. We begin to learn how to help the people around us. Not everyone is going to be able to be helped in the same way. Some people, they might need you to, help them up. Give me your hand so you can help pull me up. And somebody else might say, can you teach me how to stand up? Both people are valid. They both need help up. And if one person, they just want you to hold their hand and help them up, perfect. That's what I'm here for. You want me to teach you how to stand up? Perfect. That's what I'm here for. It's totally valid, both. And I think that's a really important thing. So many people, including myself, you get swept up into just being calibrated at a certain level. And that calibration might be, I'm not enough, I'm not valid. And then when you begin to recalibrate yourself, you begin to see, oh, actually, I am valid. And then when you begin to recalibrate yourself, you start to say, oh my gosh, not only am I valid, but my worth is this. And as you continue to recalibrate yourself, you begin to raise levels and you begin to achieve more. One of my other favorite quotes, I love quotes. I could go on all day long with quotes, by the way. I love them. One of my other favorite quotes is, if you think you can, you're right. If you think you can't, you're right. It's all here, right? It's all here. And that was one of the biggest things for me to grow and help my clients grow, is helping them remember, look, you can do this. And I'm here to help you do this. And it's a journey. It's a total journey. And together, we're going to ride these little waves. And before you know it, we're going to be sailing on the tsunami, baby. We're going to be sailing on the tsunami. So that's kind of all I would like to say. I mean, if you have questions for me, I love answering questions. But that's kind of my business in a nutshell, is me helping people recalibrate their lives, learn how to know their value, their worth, and achieve more. And we do it as a team. And I'm just so thankful and blessed to be a part of their team.
Hey, thank you. Hey, Joe, before you get off, I have such a wonderful spirit. One thing I want to ask you, and this is kind of off subject, but I think it's to be true. I see some very artistic going on in the background. Are you a guitar player? Are you a painter, artist? Like, yes, and how does that help?
Absolutely. I am an artist. I am a guitar player. So I painted this bad boy. This was all done with my fingers, by the way. And I'm a firm believer of expressing your authentic voice, however that comes out. And, it could be painting, it could be music, it could be singing, it could be dancing, it could be the way you dress, the way you do your hair. Just be your most authentic self as you can be. And one of the reasons why I really love art and music so much, and dance, I love dancing, but my friends will tell you I'm not the greatest dancer. I got some friends who are just phenomenal dancers. Like they're on another level, and they tolerate me being on the dance floor with them. But you know, the best part is I do it to bring a smile to people's face. And so one of the things about, you know, the art that I create and the music that I play is when people see it, they don't necessarily see it and say, that is the most perfect painting ever. Like every line is perfect. Everything is perfect. It's something you can look at and you can go, oh, there's maybe a flaw in there. Do you care about that flaw? And I can say, no, not really. No, because when I painted it with my heart. I didn't care if there was a light beam that wasn't indirectly, light beams can be off. Who cares, right? I didn't have to have it be perfect. When I play a song, if I miss a couple notes, somebody might say, oh, well, you didn't play that the way the person wrote it. I can say, that's okay. I played it the way I played it. Right? Because that's what matters. It's all about my authentic voice and me being okay having those moments where something is off a little bit. I don't know if you've noticed my stylish haircut here, right? But right, I mean, I have this haircut because that's where I grow hair now. You know, man, if I had a beautiful lush head of hair, I might have a huge head of hair still, like that lion's mane behind you. But this is what I can rock, so I go ahead and rock it, you know. And I remember somebody told me mohawks are for young men, and I said, well, you do realize mountains are millions of years old. So compared to a mountain, I am still a young man, which of course they found some humor in that and they kind of got off my back, right? But yeah, you know, so I'm a firm believer in being your authentic self, and however that comes out, whether it's art or music or singing, dancing, clothing, whatever it is, just be your authentic self and embrace it, and just know that there's only one you. There will only ever be one you. There's only ever going to possibly be that one you. And when you really step into that and you own it, then all of a sudden you begin to realize, oh my gosh, I'm the creator. I'm the one creating. In my life, I'm the one creating, because I can step forward and I can go, look at what I created here. Look at what I created here. Look what's being created right now in front of us. Lenwood, you are creating literally right in front of us, and I'm along for the ride. You know, there's a saying like, you know, you want to be the high man on the totem pole, right? That's the easiest job on the totem pole. The low man on the totem pole is the most important job on the totem pole. Without that low man on the totem pole, the whole thing crumbles. So when people say don't be the low man on the totem pole, that's because they're afraid of the hard work. I want to be the low man on the totem pole. Climb on my shoulders. Get up there. What can you see? Because what you see, I'm going to be able to use that too. And that's what you're doing right now, Lenwood. You're putting people on your shoulders, kid. You're putting people on your shoulders so that others can look and say, hey, that's what's out there. Look, I'm going to look out in the distance, and Lenwood, you're creating the platform, right? That's what this is. It's a platform. And that's what the low man on the totem pole is. That's the platform, baby. And that's what you're creating right now. And what a gift this is, man. This is beautiful, baby. I love it. I could go on.
Yes, man. I love your energy, man. Hey, Andrea, do you want to make any comments or questions for him?
I don't know, man. My face hurts from smiling. This is the most smiling I've been doing all weekend. Thank you, sir. I love your vision. I love the detail, and you really take us there in the imagery, and you know, the ups and the downs, and I really appreciate that. That's what the world needs, is more people like Peg and you really saying, look, I'll be the anchor, but I'm going to lift you up as I go up. We rise and unite, and that's what everything is about. You can do it by yourself, but it gets to be lonely, where you bring other people up, like Lenwood's doing on this platform, Peg's doing in her career, you're doing with your artistry. it's just amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I love the imagery of the waves, because life is but a dream. But if you have to go merrily, merrily with it, because if you keep going against that wave and waiting, beware of the undertow. So thank you so much, Joe. I appreciate it. Peg, it's been an amazing platform. Lenwood, may I continue?
Hold on one sec. Hey Joe, I put your LinkedIn up in the chat, and also I put up your email. Do you have a website? I didn't see. You didn't send it to me, and I don't see it on your LinkedIn.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, my website is healwithjoseph.com. Healwithjoseph.com. And then I have an Instagram, journey to joyful, journey_2_joyful.
Okay, so make sure you send me that in an email when we get off, so I can put that in the description.
You got it, my brother.
Thank you. No doubt, powerful. And for those of you who have stumbled upon it, we are speakers, and we are here shedding our hearts, opening up to y'all, and letting y'all know that your day, and the focal point of today is to stay in a positive mood, baby. And I think my man Joseph has definitely sparked it for us. And Andrea, if you can go ahead and introduce our featured speaker, and she is also up to a speaker's challenge, and she had only 24 hours to write up to a 15-minute speech. So let's see how she gets it in.
Absolutely. Welcome, everyone. Again, happy International Women's Day. We are finding up. We had the bookends of the show with two powerful women, so let's keep going. This woman coming to the stage, Natalie Henry, has loved helping others see their fullest potential and having their purpose become to empower others and make the right decisions in life. She has also found her purpose in fulfilling when she can share with them through her writing, her workshops, her videos, and audio teaching some of the importance lessons that she has learned along her life journey. She has really taken a moment to express and share her areas to help you grow. As an entrepreneur, writer, and motivational speaker, she is not always easy to accomplish what her goals are without a proper plan. And in doing so with a proper plan, execution, and self-management, that is why she chose to write a Teach in Practical Ways for others to follow. Please welcome Miss Natalie Henry.
Hello, everyone, and thanks again, Lenwood and Andrea, for allowing us to be a part of this, platform, this awesome work that you're doing, to help us to be able to spread our message, and to be able to help others to be able to see that, as Peg and Joseph has already said, life is a journey, and on this journey, as Peg and Joseph, I think their journey in life is somewhat similar to mine, because when I tell people, when you look at my life, and I tell people, I said, I almost didn't graduate high school, and they look at me like, huh? But you seem like a very smart person and have it all put together. I'm like, yeah. But I wasn't always that person, So when I look at life and I think about success, and one of the things that I've learned about life is that our road to success is not a single road to travel, but it is a journey through life on different terrains, and we're going to go through some stuff and go through some valleys and some hills and some mountains, and we're going to find ourselves at the edge of the river and through some rapid streams that we have to learn to navigate in order to see success in our life. And how do we, keep going? One of the things that I've learned, especially how I made it to graduate high school, is that I had to show up. I had to care enough and love myself enough to want better for myself. And the reason I almost didn't graduate is because, like Joe and Peg, I was in a dark place. I was in a place where I was confused. I felt depressed. I felt lonely. I mean, yes, I had family around me, but at the same time, it's like I felt like there was a disconnect between me and the people around me. So it is important, for us to be able to have people that we can connect with, and people who truly can motivate us and encourage us to be able to show up in life, to be able to do the things that we want to do. And we have to learn that, sometimes we get comfortable, in situations that is not healthy because we are afraid of the unknown. So we have to understand that if you want to achieve something, you can't allow fear to hold you back. You can't allow fear of the unknown to keep you from doing the things that you want to do. When I think about all the extraordinary things that has been accomplished throughout in this world, throughout ages and times, when we think about, something that we all take for granted every day, like the light bulb, what if Thomas Edison had said, you know what, oh man, I've tried 10, 20 times already. I can't bother. I quit. This won't help me. We'd probably all still be in darkness today, right? When I think about the Wright brothers who, invented the first airplane that can actually passenger airplane, would we be able to travel at the capacity that we're traveling today if they have thought, oh, that's too hard for me to even think about how to, cause an airplane to glide upon, the atmosphere. So when I think about men and different women like, Amelia Earhart and the work that she has done, and I look at these people and I'm like saying, okay, these are just ordinary people who dare to do extraordinary things. And that's how we have to look at life. I'm an ordinary person who I know, if I believe in myself and trust in the confidence that God has given me, I am able to accomplish the things that I need to accomplish, right? So when I think about, being positive and being happy, people tend to think that, being happy and having a positive mindset is only a state or a condition of your mind. But Joseph can tell you from his work that it involves more than your mind. It's about the condition of your soul, and that your soul embodies your heart, your will, mind, and your emotions. So the Bible tells us that, I wish that you prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. So if my soul isn't prospering, there's a chance that, well, not a chance, I can confidently say if my soul isn't prospering and in good health, the other areas of my life will not prosper and be in health, right? So when I think about a lot of people who are wealthy, but yet still they're committing suicide, I mean, what's missing? It's a condition of the soul. Their soul is hurting somewhere. There's something that's going on within their soul that they're not able to deal with. And because of that dark place that, that circumstance take them, they feel hopeless. So a soul without hope is only left for death. And that is, what we have to look into. And when I look in my life and I think about, happiness, I can't just focus on being happy, but if I live a life of gratitude, I will be able to live a life of joy. So because happiness is conditional, it's kind of like the way I like to explain it is kind of like having a if-then contract agreement where one party of the agreement is not aware of the terms of the agreement, right? Let's say, for example, you and I, Lenwood, go into a contract, and I'm saying that, okay, at the end of this agreement, and the outcome that I'm looking for in this agreement is I need to earn $100,000 at the end of this contract deal, right? We're in the business deal. But you don't know that is my expectation from that contract agreement, right? So you won't know, and I don't lay out the terms that the things that you need to work on in order for me to gain that 100,000 at the end of the deal. Now, the end of the deal contract comes, the end of the project, I am disappointed. Why? Because my expectation was I need that $100,000, but you weren't aware that I needed that $100,000, and you did not know what to do to earn me that $100,000. So I'm disappointed, and now I am like so unhappy because my expectation was rest on something or someone that doesn't have the potential to fulfill my expectation. So when we base our happiness on external things, it's really setting up ourselves for failure. So we have to think about, how we can harness a life of gratitude, because gratitude says, yes, I know my circumstance. Yes, I know my limitations. But besides all that, what do I have? And how can I use what I have? And because I understand what I have and know how to use what I have, I am thankful because it could be worse. So when we take ourselves from the expectation of others or things, because in reality, when we get things that we want to make us happy, yes, we have that feeling for a moment, but we all know once that feeling passes, we can't get it back again because it's already passed. And that's one of the reasons why, people become addicted to drugs, because once they have that hit for the first time and they get that high, they're always looking for that high, but they can never get that first high again, because once you get that first high, your brain is already registered in your brain. So your brain that chemical will not trigger again to give you that same high as you had before. So we can't allow external things or our expectations of people when people don't know what our expectations of them are. So we get disappointed. So let's not focus on just being happy, but living a life of gratitude, right? So the question now becomes, how do I deal with my soul and allow and heal my wounded soul for me to continue to live to have positive thinking and positive mindset and to have a life of gratitude, right? So I think of it as a 3-step process. First, you got to identify what is your problem, okay? Because you can identify your problem, then you have to confront your problem, and then you have to learn how to conquer your problem, because you cannot confront what you can't identify, right? And you cannot conquer what you don't confront. So you have to identify, confront, and conquer. So in that process, there are questions you have to ask yourself. And one of the first questions I like to ask is, and I learned that evaluating yourself can really, really change and transform your life, because when you ask yourself, this first question is, do I have unforgiveness in my heart? Because sometimes when we stop and think about, forgiveness or unforgiveness, we think, well, I don't have anybody in my heart. You might not have anybody in your heart, but you might have unforgiveness towards yourself. You might think that you can't forgive yourself for allowing yourself to fall into a situation, or allow yourself to be free from the hurt that people cause you, because you can't believe that you were so stupid to believe that this person was really who that person said he or she was. So there's always some form of unforgiveness, I find, and this is something that I really, really, really had to deal with, because, I've had a lot of experiences where, people have really done me a lot of hurt, and I had to learn to forgive, learn to let go so that I can open up myself to be able to receive, the positive help from those who I like to call them destiny helpers, those who will help me along my life's journey. So if I allow unforgiveness in my heart, I won't be able to see the people that are in my life that will be able to help me, and I won't be able to receive anything from them, because if I don't forgive, I will always put up a wall to keep people out, right? So do I have unforgiveness? And the next question I like to ask is, am I suffering from a bleeding heart? What is that one thing that hurt me so bad, that I can't let it go? Because if I don't learn to let things go, then I am going to constantly, and people always say, oh, time heal all wounds. I believe that there are some wounds that doesn't get healed with time, because we tend to bury things so deep as time goes by that we don't even realize, yes, Tom did this to me, but 15 years later, Paula comes along and Paula does something that reminds me of everything that Tom did to me. And because of that, it's like it puts me in a cycle, that keeps me going around the same situation. It's like, I can't believe I'm experiencing this again. So we have to learn to deal with that kind of emotional wound in our heart and learn to let go of things and allow healing to come into our hearts. And also, we have to learn how to, be aware of the trigger points. What are the trigger points, that causes us to go through the same circle of things? When we keep things bottled up, we allow ourselves, I like to explain, it's kind of like a pressure cooker, when you have that peas or that meat, pressuring in that pressure cooker, and all that pressure just boils up, and then you try to open it without releasing the pressure and releasing that air valve so all that pressure could come out before you open it. But when you open it, it just pops. Everything just flies up in your face. And if you're that close, it could really damage your face because of all that heat and steam that's coming out. So it's kind of like we keep all these things bottled up and we don't deal with them. So when one person touches an area that is really a sore wound for us, it's like we blow up on the person for no reason at all. Just simple little things. And it's usually the people that don't deserve it we blow up on. But, we really have to be aware of, why do I behave this way? Or why do I feel this way in this situation? Or why do I act this way? So that when we identify these things, then we're able to say, okay, I recognize it. Now, how do I confront this situation? And the way in how we confront that is, okay, now I'm aware. Okay, my response now is I am going to act upon what I know is truth and right, and not react to what has been said or what has been done to me. So now I have a it's kind of like you have a script or a blueprint to follow, to say, okay, I am not going to allow what they say or what they did to me for me to react, because we know that to every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, right? So instead of reacting, I am going to act and allow my actions to reflect who I am instead of who that action wants me to be, right? And the next thing is, what are some of the lies that you believe about yourself? Because we all know what you believe about yourself is more important than what anybody else believe about you. So if you don't believe the positive and the good things about yourself, if you don't believe that, I can do great things, it doesn't matter if 1 million people in this world tell you that you can do great things, because only what you believe you will be able to accomplish. So you have to, those are some of the questions I like to pull, and, you know, to be able to identify and confront, you know, to confront that, you know, you have to know, now discover who you are as an individual, because we know that society and culture or experiences and life circumstances has somehow shaped our beliefs about ourselves. So now we have to look at our life and say, okay, who is it that God created me to be? Because I truly believe that each and every one of us is God's masterpiece. And just like Joel said, you know, we all, if you live your authentic self, then you can do great things. And because, and I tell people all the time, when God created me, he broke the mold. There's no other me. You know, he broke the mold when he created me. So I don't have to try to be like anybody else. I don't have to try to imitate anybody else, because I know who he created me to be. And when you have that confidence, you know, in knowing that God created you for a purpose and you're not just existing, then you can say, okay, I don't have to believe what, you know, what culture tell me. Oh, I need to look like this, I need to shape like this, I need to be wearing this, and then for me to be acceptable, you know, because if you accept who you are, whether slim, fat, short, tall, it doesn't matter. If you accept, if you are comfortable in your skin, you don't have to worry, right? So that's how you confront these issues. And, you know, and so you can develop that positive mindset. And when you confront these issues now, and to be able to conquer it, that's how you develop your positive mindset. Because in order to conquer, now you're going to have to train yourself and trained your mind to think differently. You're going to have to choose every day to walk in forgiveness. You're going to have to choose every day to believe who you are, as opposed to what, you know, people has told you, whether it's your mind playing games on you, whether it's what your family told you, whether it's what friends tell you, you know. So and so you're gonna have to make a decision, a conscious decision. You're gonna probably have to tell yourself even like 15 times, 20 times of the day when you're just starting out, hey, this is who I am. And for me, I love to write declarations about my life. So I haven't done one for like 2 years, because I have one that I think is like really so great, that embodies everything that I look for in my life. You know, so I am able to speak positive, connect with people that are an example of the life that you want to see happen for yourself, right? And then speak good thoughts. We got to understand, you cannot speak death and expect life, right? So you can't tell yourself I can't, but then expect to do something. You have to speak what you want and do what you want, because you can't just think it, you have to speak it and then act upon it. And once you act upon what you're thinking and what you're speaking, then it becomes a pattern for you to follow. So we have to be able to identify, confront, and conquer, you know, and don't surround yourself with people who don't see the vision that you have for your life, because that is so important. You know, when you have a vision for your life and a goal that you want to accomplish, surround yourself with people who will encourage you, and don't worry about the naysayers. People always have something to say, whether you do something good or something bad. My father used to always tell me, because I'm Jamaican, so my father, in Jamaican terms, he used to tell me, pick sense out of nonsense, meaning even when they're, yes.
I love the heat that you're coming with, but you're well over time. You didn't even give us the chance to chime in, ask you any questions.
All right, no problem. I'll just wrap it up. Just always know that you can never quit on yourself if you're going to truly live a positive and productive life.
Yes. I thank you, Miss Natalie. You were definitely preaching. You were talking about going to the darkness of the soul and fixing that, and then confrontation when you're dealing with that devil on your shoulder is one of the roughest things to do. A lot of people like to ignore it, but if you don't, if you ignore it, it's just going to keep pestering you, and you don't want that pinch in your neck. You don't want that strain in your life. So I feel where you're coming from. You have to be a conqueror. You have to, like you said, you have to recognize that it's a problem. Some people don't recognize it's a problem. They just look at it as this is my everyday life. You understand what I'm saying? Right. And that's not what it doesn't have to be that. You could have a much brighter life. You can live a much more positive being. You could take yourself to levels that you never thought of. But, a person is just stuck in the mindset of, well, nothing changed yesterday. It won't change tomorrow. So next week will be the same. And that's because they're not conquering the demons. Do you have anything to ask her, Andrea?
Yes, real quick, Natalie. So you gave us wisdom, knowledge, nuggets of how to deal with it and get to the root cause of areas of improvement that we want on our life. So what was one of your challenges? What was your Goliath that got you to where you are? Real brief. I would love to hear that. My
Goliath that got me where I am right now is really learning how to deal with anger. Because, as I said, I've had a lot of experiences where people have treated me really bad. And I found in my life where there was just a point in my life that I became like really angry at the world, angry at myself, angry at everybody around me. And it was like really making me sick because, we don't realize and we don't understand that even though anger is an emotion, it takes a toll on us, mentally and physically. So I had to learn to release that anger, and being a believer, one of the things that really helped me is really, get into the Word of God and really seeing what the Word of God says about anger and declaring, that the word over my life and speaking. One of the things that helped, one of the scripture that helps me, it says that the man who learns to conquer his spirit or his anger is greater than the one who can conquer a city, and I really had to learn, that yes, things happened. Yes, it wasn't right. Yes, it was horrible, but I still got to learn to let it go. And that for me was one of the hardest things to do. And even now, sometimes if I'm not careful, I have to be very conscious about, how I respond to certain things.
Absolutely.
So that's for me. Yes.
Yes. And you can redirect that energy and anger and fuel it to the positive. It's not easy, but it is possible. And like you said, everything's with intention and have a choice. Do not forget, and if you fail forward, because on the other side is success. Thank you so much for being a part of tonight. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for having me.
Fantastic. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Natalie. And this is the wrap up of Tell Me Something Live. And this is the 4th episode, and we're going strong. And I love the energy. The live chat has been going off, and I love all of the positive structure of everybody talking about. They were definitely chiming in on what the speakers were saying, speaking on forgiveness, speaking of happiness, and this has just been an enjoying time. And I would just like to thank all of our speakers, Peg Tucker, Joseph Pessano, Natalie Henry, and my co-host Andrea Mason. Does anyone want to say anything to wrap up for the night? Joe, Natalie, y'all.
Yeah, may I just share something before we go? So this is something I share with the people who work with me, and I thought I would share it with you guys because I really do appreciate you all. Oh, I love you so much. You fill my heart with joy. Joy, 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 joy. Love you guys.
Fantastic. You want to say any final notes, Natalie?
Well, what I like to say is just, just to be able to have that life you want, you have to put the work in, because nothing in life comes easy. And that's it.
Anything you want to say, Andrea?
Absolutely. And it's an honor and pleasure. Every Monday we get together and bring the spirit, the life, the connection on all corners of the world. And I want each and every one of you out there listening, watching, chatting, make it a point today to lift someone up and have a gratitude attitude for their connection in life. For you can be the voice of those in the shadows. You could be the voice to those that inspire, that aspire to inspire, and you could be the voice to someone who needs to hear your message. Thank you all for this evening. Have a wonderful evening. See you next Monday.
Most definitely. Thank you for joining us all. And this is the wrap up of episode 4. And we were talking about positivity, how to maintain it, and how to keep it pushing, y'all. We'll see y'all next Monday, same time, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Peace.